What's going on? It's time for another Real Table Podcast, episode 16. It is Saturday, May 25th, 2019. What is it? It's 1:53, and I'm heading back to my house. I'm like 2 minutes away, and then I'm just gonna sit in front of my house and just fucking dick around for about 45, 50 minutes, maybe an hour, I don't know. I do have to go to work tomorrow, but who needs this thing called sleep anyways? You know, yesterday I actually, believe it or not, I was in bed with the lights out before 1 a.m., which is a fucking rare thing if people actually know me. In fact, there might be a few people out there that might be like, really? He had everything, all the lights out, was in bed before 1 a.m.? Dude, I'm up until like 3:34 when I have to wake up at like 9:30. So just the fact that I was able to do that was like unbelievable. And I was gonna do it again today, but I was hanging out with the boys playing Uno, and it was pretty long, not gonna lie. Playing Uno is a lot of fun because there are a few games out there where you can really see where it's like, alright, you ever want to get to know somebody, how good of friends you are, play Monopoly with them. That'll really, test your friendship right there. And I feel like Uno is another game too, where it's just like, let's see how good of friends you are with this person. Alright, you know what? We're not going to have that on. We're not going to hear click, 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 click. Yeah, that's not going to do that. Anyways, Wrong Turn or Wrong podcast. That's a pretty good one. I like giving these things titles because you gotta bait them in. You have to bait whoever with a good title. Because I feel like if it's just a date or if it's just a number, then it's not really that good. But if you give it a name, you want to add to the mystique to it. Okay, I probably used that word wrong. You gotta sell it. It's like when you try to get someone to like watch a movie and you say, oh, it's good, you should watch it. They're not gonna watch it. You have to like sell that shit. You have to make it sound really good, And I was thinking, speaking of movies, remember the movie American Psycho with Christian Bale? I remember I watched that movie for the first time like 4 years ago, I think. Give or take, I'm not sure. And that movie's weird. Like, it's just basically Christian Bale. At one scene, he's all dressed up in a suit, and he's just like, do you like Phil Collins? His solo career is blah, blah, blah compared to his work with Genesis. And then, like, 5 minutes later, he's running down a hallway naked with a chainsaw. Fucking Willis and Doodleberry's probably flying all around all over the place, chasing after this. That scene made no sense. As much fun as I want to say, I enjoyed watching Christian Bale run down a hallway with a chainsaw with like blood all over him in a really like dark comedy way. I didn't, because first of all, did that scene happen in a dream or something? Nobody heard her scream. She ran down the hallway and was banging on doors and shit. And not just that, but like, no one heard a loud chainsaw? How loud are people watching TVs in that fucking apartment building? And not just that, but at the end where she's running down the stairs and he's like following her, licking his mouth like a damn dog, and he just drops it. That should not have killed her. Like, seriously. I wouldn't want to see it, but also I'm kind of like, how the fuck would that work? Because, they drop it, and then the next scene, it just shows her at the bottom of the staircase. It's like, no, there's no way. Unless she stood right underneath it, there's no fucking way he could have dropped that chainsaw on her. I mean, really, come on. Why the fuck am I even talking about American Psycho? And then, like I said, nobody saw that dead body just mad chilling at the bottom of the staircase? What the fuck, Richard? That whole movie didn't really make sense. What is it? What is American Psycho? It's just... Okay, I'm stuck in this driveway. There we go. Yeah, I almost got stuck in my own driveway. Not today. You know, I really hate parking in my driveway because pigeons keep shitting on my car and I can't park in the street. So, oh, Alex gave me a bunch of Burger King coupons, so that was nice of him. And I'm definitely going to use those when I get back from Colorado. Now comes the fun part of sitting in the car for the next 45, 50 minutes. But yeah, American Psycho, especially like at the end when the machine's like telling him to like, hey, idiot, kill this cat. And he's like going to take the cat and shove it into the machine. And then, I like that. They'll kill as many people on screen. But when it comes to like killing animals, it's like, whoa. Hold on a second. We don't want to go that far. We don't want to like alienate our crowd or audience that much. Okay, but we'll fucking drop a chainsaw on a broad down the stairs. That should not have happened. It's one of the dumbest kills I've ever seen in any movie. Horror movie, thriller movie, whatever you want to call it. Why do people like that movie? And it's a book, too. And apparently, like, the book was... I think the book was and still is banned in some places because it's just fucked up. I hear it's, like, even worse than the... Well, of course, it's worse than the movie. Like in the book, he, like, gets into, like, necrophilia and shit. Which... What the fuck? Necrophilia is not cool, man. You don't do that. I don't know. It's almost like you read that book. Who the fuck read American Psycho and was like, oh, I want to make this into a movie? I feel like that person is a little just not all right there in the head. If you catch my not so subtle drift. I mean, I don't know. I think this is episode 16, right? Yeah, man, I really should have checked that, but I didn't. And I don't want to back out of this 7 minutes in, start over, or do another two-parter. Fuck that. I'm not going to do it. I wonder how that sounded when I go like this. I don't know. What is it? Church Saturday. Here's my... how many days have I worked in a row? I think I've worked 7 days in a row, I think. Yeah, I think this will be a week straight. And like 13 of 14 days in a row, or 12 out of 14, I don't know. Yeah, it's been a really busy week at the restaurant. 6 morning shifts in a fucking row. I don't like that. I do not approve of that shit. But I got no control over it, so whatever. Apparently today, oh no, wait. On Thursday, or I think it was Wednesday, actually. A guy, I don't even know what day it is. Why am I even talking about this? They had a delivery. It was like 100 pizzas going to one place. It was an $820 order. Guy got a $5 tip. I mean, come on, dude. You're buying $820 worth of pizza. I think you can afford like a $50 tip. Like, come on, dude. $50? What the fuck? Dude, $800? $820? And you're going to give him $5? And then not just that, but apparently the lady said something like, I'm so blessed that we got all this pizza. And then, to really stick it to her, I didn't take it, thank God. I can't even fit 100 pizzas in my car. The guy who took the order and he got $5, I think he actually said something along the lines of, this is the most pizzas I've taken for the smallest tip I've ever received, or something like that. Basically implying this is the most pizzas he's taken and the smallest tip for this big of an order he's ever taken or gotten, whatever. And she tried to do that. She tried to blame the school budget or whatever. Fuck the school budget. You buy $820 worth of pizza. You can afford to at least give him a damn 20. Or not even that. You should be giving him minimum 50. Because not just that, but this guy had to carry these huge bags. I mean, they're pretty heavy and they're hot too. He had to carry them like 30, 40 yards there, 30, 40 yards back. And apparently, like, kids in detention held the door open. It's like, dude, they're in detention. Put their asses to work. Give them a bag of pizza and let them carry it in. I mean, come on. And then don't give them any pizza. You know, how about that for a punishment? You're in detention, carry all these bags of pizza in, and you don't get anything. You can smell it, you can look at it, but you're not going to get any. Bam. Kids will never go to detention. They'll never misbehave ever again. I should be in charge of these fucking schools. But it just pisses me off. I don't understand people who, like, their idea of tipping. It's like, are they doing it to benefit them or, you know, the driver or the waitress or waiter or whoever? I don't know. I've literally, like, sat at a restaurant with, like, other... Like, you go out with your guy friends, and it happens to everybody. You get the check. It's, like, separate checks. And then is the, how much should I tip? How much should I tip? How much should I tip? And you're like, oh, my God, this is so stupid. It's like, just do 20%. And they're like, yeah, but the service wasn't that great and the food wasn't that great. And you're like, okay, then do fucking 10%. They're just like, well, I know they expect something, so I gotta give them... Dude! Just pick a number and let's end this thing. I mean, my God. I don't know. I'm like one of the most generous, you know. You really have to like piss me off or like spit in my food and I open my burger and I go, hey, look, there's a huge fucking wad. You're not getting anything. I'm a very generous tipper. I've even tipped well when like the food or even like the service wasn't that great because I know half the time it wasn't everybody's fault. Sometimes it was just bad luck, or it's just like, mistakes happen. I get it. Right? Not going to take it personal. But, yeah, it's just like, you lost a couple bucks. I actually have a rule of thumb. And I've done this only a couple of times. This happened a couple years ago. A year and a half, a couple years ago. Me and the boys went to Dutch Bros. And I think it was just my order, but I ordered something, and then he came back, and I forgot what he said, but he basically said something. He basically said something along the lines of he knew that I was going to tip him. And in my head, I'm like, all right, you get automatically $0. The second you assume a tip and mention it out loud, then you just fucked yourself out of a tip, dude. You don't do that. Call it an unwritten rule or whatever, but in my book, you don't do that shit. Even if it's like 100% obvious you're going to get a tip, you don't say it. So if you're ever with me and I'm out in public or whatever, and I'm signing something and a guy or a girl like mentions the tip while I'm writing everything down, no tip for them. It's like you just talked yourself out of it. Way to fucking go, dude. And be like, hey, that's a little hardcore, Stone. Don't you think it's a little harsh or whatever? No. First of all, it's fucking rude. Right in front of me, you're going to talk about a tip and just be like, hey, I'm going to get a tip, right? Oh, here's where you put the tip. You could put the tip right here and you can add the total. It's like, oh, okay, thanks a lot. 0.00. So you add $24.89 plus 0 is $24.89. Signature, there you go. Have a good day. You know? I would love to see, like, them walk back and be like, that guy didn't give me a tip. My first response is, or if I was in the other person's position, I'd be like, well, did you mention getting a tip right in front of him? Yeah, why? I'd be like, okay, well, you know what? That's kind of rude and kind of stupid because you were going to get a tip anyways. Why the fuck did you do that? It's not fucking rude. Yeah, it kind of fucking is. It's not on the levels of going up to a heavier weight girl and being like, hey, are you pregnant? You know, you don't. That's fucking out of this world. Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Or like asking a woman her age. Or, I don't know, just, those are like the two big ones. I feel like there's a third one. Well, there are things you don't say to women, then there are things you don't ask women. There are a bunch of things you don't say. Like, you don't say the word moist around women, which I don't understand. What's so bad about the word moist? Moist. You know, can I get you a moist towelette? What the fuck is the big deal? It's just a word. No big deal. I mean, I could think of like 25 other words off the top of my head that are way worse than moist. But not just that. And I'll give them a little credit. Women don't like to hear the word moist in the bedroom. Okay, I kind of get that. But again, I think there are way worse words that you could hear or say that would immediately turn you off. I don't get, and I did learn that lesson the hard way. But again, hey, you got to go through errors and mistakes like that so you know for the future. But again, it's like, what the fuck's the deal? It's just a word. Moist. What is it? You know, I mean, come on. Does it conjure up a weird image, or is it a weird word to say or hear or process in your head? I don't know. I don't get it. Is it kind of like when guys don't like when they hear a girl call another girl a cunt? I feel like, because guys don't like that word. Isn't that funny how like there are some words that the opposite gender aren't really allowed to say when they're around the other gender? Like guys and guys, yeah, it's fair game. Girls and girls, fair game. But there are some words that guys can't say to girls and girls can't say to guys. But girls can get away with saying whatever they want to a guy because, I don't know, give you an example. A guy could never call a girl a bitch. No fucking way. Even in a joking way, there's no way. But a girl can call a guy a bitch, like, practically any day of the week, and everyone's just going to be like, well, hey, she called you a bitch, so you got to step up your game and not be a bitch. It's kind of like, what the fuck? But you see it all the time. Girls call each other bitch all the damn time. She's like, bitch, you look hot, or whatever. It's just like, man, you're such a bitch, It's just kind of like the equivalent of when a guy calls his friend a dick or an asshole or something. But again, when a girl can't really call a guy a dick or like a cock or whatever, because guys don't hear the insult. They just hear a girl saying dick, and they halfway, not even really like halfway, more like 25% kind of like get turned on. They're like, what? Just say dick? And in the girl's head, they're just like, I insulted this guy. Or it's just like playful insulting. But in the guy's head, it's like, can you say that again? Just really quick or whatever. I don't know. I'm not saying that's true for every guy, but I do think that is kind of there is a little bit of truth behind that about, some people. Is that what you're saying about yourself, Stone? No. Not really. Look, I'm just saying. Oh, look, come on. You're hanging out with your crush, and you hear your crush talking about, certain things, or they say certain words. You're just like, can you say that again? Can we stay on topic here? Can we, keep this, thing going or whatever? That's what I'm getting at, all right? But anyways, where the fuck am I going? I'm going to dig myself out of this rabbit hole before I, get way too deep. Like the Pearl Jam song, which is a great song. Deep by Pearl Jam is one of my favorite songs to play on drums. And you know what's funny? We're almost 17:51 into this thing. I had nothing planned, and I'm going strong. Going strong. Oh, I've been watching Seinfeld recently. And I forgot how funny that show is. Well, not really. It's a funny show. And the thing I like about Seinfeld is it's funny all the time. There are only 2 or 3 serious moments on the entire 9 seasons. Because I was watching clips from the show Everybody Loves Raymond. And there's serious moments in that show where it's like, there's no laughing in the audience. And you're just like, oh, yeah, this is serious. They're talking about some heavy shit right here. Then you turn on Seinfeld and it's just George yelling about being a latex salesman or whatever. And you're like, all right. But that show on Seinfeld is just so fucking witty. It's so good. The plots are so simple, yet so complex. All the plot lines interact and cross paths one another. Sometimes all 4 plots come together in one, setting, and then it leads into a different plot. Such a good show. And I may or may not have said this, but I hate the show Friends. I hate that show. I can't stand it. And of course, Wilmer Flores on the Diamondbacks, that's his walk-up song. So everybody does that stupid clap thing. Oh my god, I hate it. I hate that show so much. Why do you hate that show? Because it's a ripoff of Seinfeld. No, it's not. Really. Let's go through the list again. It takes place in New York. It's about friends hanging out. They all go to a cafe or they hang out in their apartment. And a lot of it's about relationships and dating. Yeah. I mean, what fucking else? It's like they didn't even try. All they did was they added, instead of 4 characters, they had 6 or 7, like an extra guy and 2 more girls, and that's it. What is it? They Jennifer Aniston, Courtney Cox, Phoebe, forgot the Lisa Kudrow, and then David Schwimmer, that one dude, Joey. Oh, Matthew Perry. So that's 6. Am I missing somebody? I think let's just say 6. Okay, so they added 2 more characters, 1 more guy, and then 2 girls, and that's it. And I've watched Friends before, and I don't laugh because the humor is more. It just feels like it's more like easier. It's like simpler. It's like they're not really trying to. They're taking the easy way to make you laugh. They're not really putting too much thought into it. And Seinfeld, yeah, some of it's really dumb, basic humor. But sometimes it's like very quick little things. And sometimes it's not really like the humor. It's like everything around, the joke. The delivery, the setting, or, the people's reactions, or how they say shit. On Friends, it's just all yelling. It's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And also, I've noticed Seinfeld is more male-driven. Friends is more female-driven. I've talked to a lot of girls, and they say, they like Friends more, not Seinfeld. And I think to myself, every time I turn on Friends, there's always, a girl in every single scene. And it just seems like it's more female-driven. And someone told me that another reason why Friends is so popular is that the girls don't wear bras on the show sometimes. And it's like, yeah, that'll boost up your ratings. That'll get you an extra 500,000 to 1 million, viewers. Maybe even 2 million, I don't know. But again, it blows me away that Friends is either more popular or just as popular. I mean, Seinfeld. Well, think about this. The finale of Seinfeld has 76.3 million people. Or I don't know about 0.3, but definitely had 76 million people watch the finale. The finale for Friends, I'm not sure. It was high. I want to say 56, but I'm not entirely sure. And, of course, the Friends finale. Everybody loved it. It was perfect. The Seinfeld finale, it's like, it was awful, blah, blah, blah. I think it would be extremely difficult to write a series finale for any show. Not just one in particular, like Breaking Bad or Game of Thrones or Seinfeld or any show. I think it would be extremely difficult. If you wrote every single episode or was on the writing staff for every single episode, and it's like, all right, now we got to end this shit. Nothing next week, no cliffhangers, this is it. I mean, if you wanted to end on a cliffhanger, I guess you could. That'd be a really bullshit way. There's like an accidental cliffhanger where it's like, hey, we thought we were coming back for another season, but I guess not. And then there's like the purpose cliffhanger where it's like, you get to choose the ending. It's like, but bullshit, I don't want to choose the ending. That's your job, is to tell me what the ending is. Tell me how the fucking show ends. But anyways, because Game of Thrones ended, thank God, and apparently people were disappointed in the finale. And that's another thing too. I think most people are going to be disappointed in the finale. And the Breaking Bad, show, I'm so glad that show was over. It's a great show, don't get me wrong. It's one of the best shows I've ever seen. But oh my God, it was like, I don't want to say it was too perfect, but no one ever, like, pointed out its flaws. It had some flaws, alright? It's not perfect. No show, no movie is, like, absolutely perfect. It's almost like they could have done anything on that show and people would have loved it. I remember there was a scene in there, it was like season 3 or 4. I think it was 4. Actually, there were a couple scenes, but the one I'm talking about was in 4, I think. These 2 guys were talking about the Left 4 Dead video games, and it lasted way longer than it should have. And I really wanted to like it because I played Left 4 Dead, and I wanted to be like, yeah, I can relate to that. But it was just annoying. And I thought to myself, these guys have been talking about video games for like at least 5-6 minutes, and people love it. The critics love it. Meanwhile, you take that exact scene and you put it in The Office, and people would have been like, that scene should have been deleted. It's ridiculous and blah, blah, blah. And I get it. The Office is a half-hour show. Breaking Bad's an hour show. But either way, even if they talked about video games for 30 seconds to a minute, people would be like, it's a little unnecessary, it's a little dumb or whatever. They do on Breaking Bad. Oh my god, it really expanded the characters. I can't even come up with any words. I'm so tired. But you get what I'm saying. Kind of like the series finale could have been anything, and people would have loved it. The series finale literally could have just been Walter comes out and just he just sits in a car, blows it up, and then the next 55 minutes is just a funeral and a montage, and people would have loved it. It wrapped up the character's storyline so well. It's like, no, it didn't. The first scene showed Walter getting in a car and then just blowing up. Nobody made an appearance. It was just a clip show. It was a montage after that. How the fuck... this show, it literally could have done anything. People would have loved it. It could have loved it. They could have came out. They could have made an episode, and Walter, Jesse, could have looked at the camera and said, KKK, and then kept going. And people would have loved it. It would have been like, oh my god, it's so good. It's so great. Well, hey, they just said KKK. That's offensive. That's wrong. You know, it's just like, it was part of the plot. You don't understand. No, I don't think you understand. Holy shit. This show is ridiculous. Nobody badmouthed it or trash talked it at all. That's like the only show I've ever seen where nobody, except for like myself, and maybe my dad a little bit. And also, I think that's my mom's favorite show of all time. And I'll take credit. I got her into the show. A few years back for Christmas, I bought her the first season on DVD, and I said, hey, I heard the show is good. Here you go. Maybe you can watch it. Let me know how it is, and then maybe I'll get into it, and we can watch it. And she's like, okay. And then that was it. She was hooked, and she's like into the show, and it's so funny because the show, if you haven't seen it, it is like really dark, and it doesn't get any better as it goes on. It just gets worse and worse and worse. They just keep finding ways to make the show. It's like, damn, that was dark. It's like, oh, you thought that was dark. Wait till next season. And you get to the next season, you're like, damn, that was dark. It's just like, oh, no. Wait till next season. They keep finding ways. And I don't want to spoil, the series and everything. But I could definitely... Oh, there's a cat. There are definitely... scenes in there that I could easily point out and just be like, dude, this was fucked up. And then the next season they did this, that was even more fucked up. Like, oh my god. It's a good show, but again, I don't think it I don't want to say it didn't deserve the reviews it got and everything. It did. The acting was great. The story was great. The storylines for all the characters were great. The characters were amazing too. But it's like everyone was hypnotized and no one ever just had any complaints at all. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. Except for the Fly episode. That was like the one thing that fans either loved or hated. I'm one of the fans that hated it. I didn't like that episode. It was literally called they should have just called it, hey, we don't have the budget. We need to save a little bit for the next episode. So, yeah, here you go. Fuck you, here you go. That's so dumb. The whole episode, they just try to kill a fly. How that fly got in there, I don't know. But I highly doubt only one fly got into that meth lab the entire time they've been in there. Man. And not even a spoiler. It's in season 3. Like 3:12. And here's the best part. You could basically skip the first 30 minutes and you won't miss anything at all. It's that bad. And pointless. Like I said, you can skip the first 35 minutes, really. The good shit happens in the first 2 minutes of the episode. And even then, it's not even that great. And then skip the next 28 to 30 minutes. And then watch the last 10, 15, then you're good. Really, that episode should have been like a half hour long. But I don't know. Whatever. And I will say this. Before... Oh, jeez. I hope the camera didn't pick that up. Before Breaking Bad, no one gave a shit about New Mexico. Nobody cared about Albuquerque. Nobody cared about bald guys. Then Breaking Bad came out. Then you just started seeing more bald guys. You started seeing guys that were going bald and growing the goatee out and trying to walk around and pretend they're Heisenberg and everything. And then it was working. They got chicks, dude. You know, like they were pretending to be, confident. They were pretending to be Heisenberg. And they, they got it. That's what I need to do. Not go bald and grow a goatee. I can grow a goatee, no problem. I'm not going bald. But, yeah, then Breaking Bad came along. People are like, hey, New Mexico. Albuquerque, where's that? New Mexico? Alright, well, now I gotta go to New Mexico now. Jeez, that's the only thing, the biggest thing to come out of New Mexico. I mean, what's from New Mexico? What movie, what TV show, what anything is from New Mexico except for Breaking Bad? Like, tell me. Write in and tell me. Like I said, I really wish I could have, like, enough people listen to this where I can get write-ins. That'd be so cool to read something and then, like, answer back or whatever. Not like fan mail, but just like, hey, ask me something, and then they'll give me something to talk about. Oh, we're already at 31 minutes? Jeez. It's going good. Going good so far. Oh, man. Man, that show Breaking Bad is really good. I'd recommend it if you somehow haven't seen it yet. And then Game of Thrones is over. Thank God. I think, isn't the show just a bunch of sex scenes? And not just that, but it's just, like, I heard it's a lot of gay and rape scenes and even some incest. It's like, oh, God. I don't know why I just thought of this, but a few months back, in one of our group chats, a friend of ours posted a picture. He took a screenshot. He uploaded a video to Pornhub of him playing guitar. And I forgot the name he gave it. And about a month ago, I scrolled back in the group chat, and I found the link, and I clicked on it, and it takes you to the fucking video on Pornhub. It's the funniest shit, and I watched it too. I think he played Pokemon or something. He did a cover of some theme song. I don't remember what it was, but I recognize it. I think it was Pokemon. I don't know. I have to go back to the group chat and find the link. But I think that shit's so fucking funny, especially when people watch movies on Pornhub. It's so fucking weird. It's funny, but it's weird. It's weird. Speaking of just talking, I gotta get a guest on here. Ow! Ow. That hurt. Jeez. Yeah, I gotta get a fucking guest on here. But, someone told me, he's like, listen to the podcast. You should call it the Naked Table Podcast. And I'm like, why the Naked Table? And he's like, because you're opening up, so you should be naked. So you're fully opening up. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I will admit, though, the Naked Table Podcast, that is a pretty funny name. And I'm pretty sure that name is definitely not taken. Okay, look, here's the thing. If this somehow gets big, which it won't, but if it does, and we start taking off, us and all 15 members of the Table Nation, because there's 15 subscribers so far, but it's growing, it's getting up there. Hey man, the last podcast I just checked got 20 views, and it hasn't even been a week. Could be the title, I don't know, let's see. But anyways, so if I have to change Real Table Podcast name, the backup name, Miami Dolphin Dives. But still, we're not in Florida or, anywhere close to it. Why would you name it that? Because it's funny. That's why. And also, fuck you, that's why. And then, if that name doesn't work, then I'll change it to the Naked Table Podcast. Maybe. I don't know. Like I said, it is a pretty funny title. And speaking of Naked Table, remember the Naked Brothers band? Remember that shit? What was that even about? That was like two brothers who were like 8 and 9 or 9 and 10, and they were like in a band. I remember I was like sick or something, and I stayed at home, and I watched the world premiere of the Naked Brothers band. And I was like 10 or 11, so I was sick and I had nothing to do. So I watched it. Oh, fuck. Thinking back to my childhood, I had a lot of freedom. Like, I had my own TV in my room, and sometimes I would I would shut the door and then turn the channels and just watch, like, things I probably wasn't allowed to watch, or things I definitely wasn't allowed to watch, even though it was on TV and edited, some things. I remember one time I was flipping through the channels and again turned on the Sci-Fi Channel. I said this this Wednesday on the last podcast on Wednesday, but I watched the Sci-Fi Channel a lot. Like, looking back, I watched that channel so much when I was younger, and I still probably would too, but I'm working, all the time and so late, and I don't have TV in my room. I have to watch it in the living room. I don't know. My dad's like, he always, when I was younger and I would watch, like, scary movies or horror movies, he'd be like, why are you watching that? And I'm just like, just watching it. He'd be like, you like watching people die? It's like, okay, you can use that logic on me? Like, I remember there's a movie called Killing Season with Robert De Niro and John Travolta. Yeah, John Travolta. I was really just watching it for Robert De Niro. And it's basically about these two old guys. Robert De Niro's an American, retired soldier. The other was oh, fuck. John Travolta did a really terrible accent. Something. And basically, Serbian? I think he played a Serbian guy. And basically, John Travolta's character wanted to get revenge on Robert De Niro. So he somehow finds him, tracks him down in the forest, and the movie is basically them just walking around the forest. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? That was really weird. What was that? Was that that sounded like a tire being blown out. It kind of did sound like a gun a little bit. No, that was not a gun. That was like, ba 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 ba. What the fuck was that? That's really weird. Huh. Alright, 37:16. I definitely gotta go back and listen to see if I captured the audio of that. What the fuck was that? Boy, I really hope there wasn't actually some sort of, like, major accident. I accidentally captured the audio of it. That would not be a good time. That would not be fun. So anyways, to wrap up what I was saying, that movie Killing Season, basically the movie is about, these two old guys, because it came out like 10 years ago, or a little less than 10 years ago. It's just these two guys just walking around a forest, just hunting each other, and then, at the end of the movie, they're just like, I could kill you, but I'm not going to. Let's, live peacefully. I forgive you. Then the movie ends. It's like, all right. But again, my dad's like, what are you watching? I'm like, Killing Season. He's like, Killing Season? Really? Just people killing each other? It's like, come on, man. You've watched some of these movies that I'm watching. Did anyone give you, a hard time over it? I told him, he knows about my other podcast with me and Alex. But then I said, I got two. I got a solo, and then I'm also doing the one with Alex. And he's like, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, now you know. He's just like, was there a reason for it? You like curse on there, you say bad words. And I'm like, well, yeah, but I mean, is it really the worst thing, out there? That's like the worst thing you could capture me. It's like, what if I was smoking a cigarette or doing some drugs or, just, shooting up some heroin or robbing a bank? It's like, I can tolerate that. But you cursing? I don't know about that. He said the fuck word. I don't know. like I said, I'm just still thinking about why is it like every time I record, I capture some like weird shit. I don't know why I extended the word shit, but I did. But like seriously, what the fuck was that? That was really strange. A part of me kind of wants to like start the car and like drive around to like, because it sounded like it came from like in front of me, but like behind the house, like possibly, because behind my house there's an alleyway and then there's another house and then there's the main street. It sounded like it came by the main street. So I don't know. The safe thing is probably not to do anything. Actually, safe thing should probably be go inside. But where am I gonna fucking record? I actually could just go into my room and just record it there and finish it. Yeah, let's live life on the edge. I think I got about another 20-ish minutes, and then I'm gonna call it, get in the shower real quick, and then call it a night. Maybe it's a Jersey Devil. Maybe he finally is making an appearance. I don't know. Is he? Oh my god. How does the Jersey Devil know how to upload a video to YouTube? What fucking podcast was that? I feel like that was 6, 7, or 8. One of those podcasts. But anyways. Speaking of Robert De Niro, what the fuck happened to that guy? He's choosing really bad movies. Have you seen some of the movies he's been in? Like Bad Grandpa? Like, oh my god. Like, I get you're getting old and you just want to like have some fun, but come on, man. Pick some better roles. I mean, seriously, Bad Grandpa? Was Zac Efron? Oh my god. It's Zac Efron. Like, that guy. Remember High School Musical? Remember when that came out? Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing like commercials for that, all the hype, and I watched it. And then I watched the second one. If we're being honest, I think the second one was actually pretty good, from what I remember. I never saw the third one, but like, what the hell? And just thinking about that reminds me of, oh fuck, you know what? I started telling something not too long ago, and I got sidetracked. I remember it now. It was back when I was younger, when I had my own TV, and I would watch shit. I don't know what I got off topic on, but let me go back to that and continue it. So basically, I had my own TV, and I would watch stuff that I most likely was not allowed to watch. And one of those things that I watched was Final Destination. And Final Destination is a really weird movie because it's one of those movies where you don't see the villain. The villain is death, but death doesn't have a form. The only form is really, the accidents that happen around it. And if you haven't seen Final Destination, it's basically, it's about like 5 or 6 people. There's an accident somewhere. There's a car accident. The first movie, there's a plane crash, and then right before the plane crashes, 5 or 6 people get off the plane because one guy has a premonition. Plane's gonna crash. Then his whole group gets kicked off the plane. Plane crashes. They cheated death, and then slowly, of course, slowly. I feel like in real life it would happen within an hour. Death comes for everybody, but they happen through accidents. Like a guy will get in the shower, then he'll trip and then fall in the glass and break it, and then glass will cut his throat. Like accidents like that. And he's by himself. So that's the thing. It's just like death. It's an interesting concept. But of course, they made 5 or 6 of them. I think 5 over a period of 10 to 12 years. And they progressively got like more, grotesque and kind of just flat out dumb. Because it's just like, how many times do we have to see this shit? But here's the thing. When I was younger, I saw this and I was like, oh my god, like, these are like accidents. I gotta be like more careful. which is, again, like, if my parents never knew that I watched it, but yeah, you can't, like, do that. Oh, and I remember when I was younger, I watched, what was it? I think it was Boogeyman 2, and that movie scared the shit out of me. It scared me pretty fucking bad that I did not sleep that night. I could not go to sleep. It was one of those nights where I think I was up the whole night. I fell asleep eventually somehow, but man, that was. And the funny part is like I went back and watched part of it or most of it when I was older, and it's just a dumb movie. It's just, you know, the Boogeyman or whatever. I feel like the first one. I never saw the first one. I saw the trailer for it. The first one looks pretty good. The second one, like I said, it's just a gore fest. But on TV, it's like edited a little bit. We'll admit this, like the opening scene, and this is what I fucking hate that Hollywood does. But I understand why they do it, because they need to get a reaction out of you. They need to like get you to open up and feel weak. The opening scene in Boogeyman 2 is a family, and like I said, this is already off to a good start. Opens with a family having dinner, hanging out, and then the daughter is like playing dolls behind one of those big doll houses, and she like looks through like one of the windows down the hall, and she sees this hooded figure, which, you know, the Boogeyman, just stab her dad like 500 times and then just walk away. And it's like, what the fuck, really? So then she gets up and then like finds her brother, and they're walking through the house, and then they see their mom's reflection of her, like, you know, just like being hung. And then flash forward, 15 years later, and the girl, they're both grown up, and they're both, have mental problems. And I think I told this to somebody, or maybe I talked about it on here, but you watch the movie, and throughout, they just, like I said, it's a gore fest. Oh, Tobin Bell is in that movie. Who the fuck's Tobin Bell? I don't know that. Yeah, you do. He's the voice of Jigsaw. Oh, that guy. Yeah, his name is Tobin Bell. He's in the movie. He plays a therapist in it. And the whole movie is just gore and scary mask. It's like you take one of the masks from Slipknot, and then... So basically, the lead singer of Slipknot goes around and just starts offing people. And like I said, looking back on it, I watched it when I was older, and looking back, there's some really stupid scenes in that movie. And there are some scenes that just didn't make any sense. One of them was this kid, like there are 7 or 8 people, and they're all staying in like a mental like hospital, but they have like the freedom to walk around. It's almost like a mental, health living facility, but it was like an apartment or like a hotel complex where they can just kind of walk around and just do whatever, but they live in a whole entire fucking building. It was really weird. Wouldn't you love to watch a movie with me with my amazing commentary behind it? So anyways, just like any movie, they die slowly, one by one, and they all have different fears. One's a germaphobe, one is like afraid of the dark, one is there was like one where she like cut her wrists. There was one that I saw that was like, one was like afraid of commitment to relationships or love, so they just banged. Really? I don't think they should be, I feel like you're just throwing these people in there just for a sex scene later on. And sure enough, they did. And this is what they did with it. This is annoying when movies do this. They play the sex scene, they edit it, so for 3 seconds you're watching this guy and girl like go to fucking town, and then they cut back to this other girl, like literally there are maggots inside of her arm, so she's like cutting her arms open to get the maggots out, and then they cut back to the sex scene, and you're like, dude, my dick doesn't know, it's like getting hard and then it stops, and it gets harder and it gets stopped. Like, what the fuck? My dick doesn't know what to do here. I hate that shit. It's like the director purposely was like, let's fuck with the audience and have a sex scene, but we'll also throw in a really disgusting scene at the same time. That way, we can tell the really creepy people in the audience if they have that and they still have an erection at the end of it. like I said, it was a really dumb movie. And then, like, at the end, there was, like, a couple of really, like, emo scenes in there, for being honest. Like I said, there's, like, during the sex scene, there was one part where this girl gets, I don't know how, but this dude puts, like, I don't know if maggots is, I don't think it was maggots, but it's like, they put, like, these worms inside this girl's arm. This is really gross. And she has to, like, cut, her wrist, and then that's how she dies. There was another scene where this guy, again, this is really dumb. He, like, eats a bag of chips, and then he looks in the bag of chips, and he sees a bunch of bugs crawling in it, like cockroaches, and then he starts, like, gagging and choking, and then you see the boogeyman, like, kicking him something to drink, and he drinks it, and then it's, like, acid, and then he dies. Okay. Really? Okay. And then, and this is, like, the most emo part of the movie, there's this guy who walks into his room, boogeyman's there, throws him on the bed, and then don't get me wrong, this looks like it would fucking hurt. Well, it would. He takes this tool and he, like, jams it into this guy's chest, and it's one of those things where he, like, cranks it and it, like, slowly opens up. So he opens up his chest and then pulls his heart out. And it's like, did a fucking 15-year-old write this? Literally pulled his heart out. Is that supposed to signify the fact that 5 minutes ago this guy got broken up with after banging this chick in the locker room? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there is some meaning behind it, or maybe it's just stupid. I don't know. And the other thing too that was dumb about it is, like, the girl would walk into the room and then see a dead girl, with bugs crawling all over her arm. She'd run down the hall and be like, guys, come back here, look at this. She'd come back and the room's completely empty. It's like, hold up. Can you explain this a little bit? Maybe she went into the wrong room. There's no way that guy cleaned up that shit and then made the bed without anybody seeing or hearing anything. There's just no way. And then, oh fuck, I feel like I want to go on more about this movie, but I just can't really think of anything else. It's a really just stereotypical, cheesy, sci-fi horror movie channel. Also, we're already at 52 minutes? Man, this one's going by quick. Remember the last podcast around the 40-minute mark, I was struggling. If that, I was probably struggling before that. Now we're fucking good. I could call it right now if I wanted to. But I'm not. I'm going to go on a little bit longer. Although my phone's at 25%, so I don't want to go on for too long. But hey, man, you just wait. This podcast is going to be big one day. One day, just not right now. Just not anytime soon. But, like I said, I will be leaving Monday to go to Colorado. Me and my dad are taking off. And, oh great, yawn. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. That's my tribute to Bill Burr, because I've started saying that for sure. Oh man, I'm really tired. And now the last 7 minutes is going to be a fucking struggle to get through. But hey, I don't know, 50 minutes of just straight on going through. Not even really looking at the timer, because I'll keep looking over to the left or the right, or the right or the left. Just see if there's anybody sneaking up. I mean, honestly, if anybody was sneaking up, I could just pull the phone up right now and just record them. And then upload the video to YouTube. And somebody would see it, I got like 15 subscribers, and sure enough, surely one of those people will watch it and just be like, oh hey, something's going on here. Unless the perpetrator got on my phone and deleted it. Alright. I'm just rambling at this point. But I need to go on just a little bit longer. I am really excited for the upcoming months. I earned a lot of hours this week. And I plan to... Well, next week I'm only working 3 days. Friday. Am I working? No, I'm not. I'm actually working 2 days next week. Jeez. because Monday through Wednesday, I'll be in Colorado. Thursday, I have off. But I'm going to oh man. I'm going to my cousin's graduation. Friday, I'm going to a party. Saturday, I work. Oh, fuck. Get this. Saturday, I'm doing a split shift between the two jobs. I'm doing 10:45 to 4, and then basically get off work, go right to the stadium, and then work probably until at least 10:30. That's going to be a fucking 12-hour day with maybe 30 minutes off in between. Maybe. I'm going to have to probably leave before 4 if I'm going to get down there in time. But yeah, and then Sunday I work at the stadium. So yeah, it's only 2 days next week. Jeez. So yeah, good thing I'm working a lot this week. Unfortunately, man, yawning is kicking in. God, I want to go for at least just 4 more minutes. So yeah, that's kind of a bummer. So working a lot. Working a shit ton this week. Next week, nothing. But actually, I did get paid today by the restaurant, which I was not expecting. I thought I was going to get paid next Friday. So that's pretty cool. And I don't know if I'm going to be recording next Wednesday in Colorado. I don't know where I would do it. You know, I can't record in the hotel. You know, where am I going to go? In the bathroom and just whisper? I can't go in the car because it's also my dad's car, and he would definitely not like that. And, you know, I'm going to respect that. So I just don't know. Unless maybe I could go outside, you know, somewhere. But again, it depends on where we're at. You know, the environment, that's not the word I'm looking for. The area that we're in. So we'll see. You know, if we were staying with my aunt, that'd be something else. Oh yeah, that reminds me. My aunt tells me that this is just, you know, wherever you live. But she tells me she sees bears like all the time. No big deal. You just see a bear. You know, a bear's just walking across the road in front of me, or there's a bear in the backyard, in the front yard, just walking around. It's like, a bear? Dude, that's not cool. I don't fuck with bears, you know. What the fuck has a bear ever done for me? You know, bears don't get me laid. They don't do my taxes for me and get, you know, me money off or money back. You know, they don't give me discounts at Harkins, so what the fuck would I ever do with a bear? Or what would a bear ever want to do with me, except for eat me? It just blows me away, you know, people out in the world that have like a pet bear, a pet, you know, snake or anaconda. Like, come on, man. That thing gets out of the cage, it's coming for you. It's not going to let you go and terrorize the whole, you know, country. This ain't Planet of the Apes. You know, James Franco had a pet ape, and then the ape went crazy and, you know, goes out. And I guess, no, they weren't killing people, but they were definitely causing traffic jams and just being bitches about everything. And then James Franco comes along and he's just like, Caesar, home, now, leave me the fuck alone. And James Franco's like, okay. Which, speaking of which, that scene, because think about it, in that movie, Rise of the Planet of the Apes, which is actually a pretty good movie, not gonna lie, Malfoy's in it, and Malfoy gets fucking murked. He gets electrocuted by the ape. Well, I forgot about that. But anyways, remember the scene where after the Golden Gate Bridge fiasco, Caesar's like in the forest and James Franco somehow gets to the forest, you know, in time? I don't remember the scene that well, so I don't remember how he got there. But anyways, he like gets in the forest and he's like, Caesar. And the other apes are like looking at him like, eh, and they start walking. Caesar like, you know, tells all the apes to back down. Caesar's such a badass character, and he's a fucking ape. How about that? So he like stands on his back legs and he walks over to James Franco, and then he like grabs him and hugs him, and then he like whispers and he's like, Caesar, home. And it's the first time James Franco, because he didn't know that Caesar talked and said the most epic moment in recent movie history, or one of them, when Malfoy was like, "Get your paws off me, you damn dirty ape," and he goes, "No!" And I can imagine the whole theater was probably like, "What the fuck?" and probably like gave him a small ovation, standing ovation, excuse me. So that was the first time James Franco used. Actually, that was a notification on my phone. When it gets to 17%, it notifies me that I need to charge my battery. So nice of my phone to do that. I don't know why it chose 17. I wish I could have chosen a bigger number. Like, I don't know, 21. But anyways, that scene where he says Caesar home, you can just see, James Franco's character. He's just like, okay, yeah, you're home, buddy. I'll let you go. Can you imagine your pet anything? You just one day you just walk into the house and you're like, oh hey Jimmy, and your dog looks up to you and he goes like, yo, take me outside, I gotta take a dump. You would probably like shit your pants. You'd be like, what the fuck? Did you just talk? And be like, yeah, take me outside, I gotta go. Alright. I'd love to continue this. Maybe next podcast, Wednesday or Saturday, I'm not sure. But you know what? That's gonna have to be it. I'm really tired. I still gotta get in the shower. And I got work tomorrow morning. I got 11 to 7:30. But this will be my last shift. And then I got Sunday off. And then Monday, I will be heading out to Colorado. It should be fun. So anyways, that's it. That's the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you have a good weekend. Be smart, be safe. And remember to just support the table. Get people to join the Table Nation. Alright, that's it. Bye.